This is the most careful AI coding tool I've tested. It checks its own work after every step. It read the docs before picking a model. It even flagged a security warning I never asked for. It also told me twice that I had fixed a bug, while the error was still right there, because for all that checking, it never once opened the app it built. Third tool, same experiment. Build the exact same app, a YouTube comment moderator with OpenAI coding tool, and compare what they produce. Fetch 50 comments, triage them, search, summarize the themes with AI, and the hard one, detect spam and auto-hide it. This time, it's Codex, OpenAI's coding agent, running its latest model. Two things make this episode different, and I need to be upfront about both. First, Codex isn't an editor. The last two tools were editors I watched build it in real time. Codex is an agent you hand a job to. It works in the background and you inspect the result. Second, my choice, so I'm flagging it. I ran it in its new autonomous goal mode. You give it the objective and it plans, executes, and checks its own work until it decides it's done. OpenAI pushes this as the way to use Codex. So it's not quite apples to apples with how I drove the others step by step. I'll point out where that matters. It took about an hour, but hold that number loosely. A lot of it was the tool and my setup fighting each other, not building. You'll see. Let me start with what impressed me, because it makes everything later more interesting. It checked the workspace before scaffolding. It ran the linter, and it built after every step. And unprompted, it flagged 2 security warnings in the dependencies. No tool before it volunteered that. Then, the thing I tell you to do every episode. When it needed an AI model for the summary feature, it looked it up. Read the current docs before writing the name. The last 2 tools both hallucinated a dead model here and had to recover. Codex checked reality first and got a live one on the first try. Though notice which model. Its own company's. The last tool, which has no house model, picked the competitors on merit. When a tool has a brand, it orders of its own menu. We'll see if the last one does too. And it talks. When I fed it a deliberately broken video ID, it diagnosed the problem, explained it, and told me how it was fixing it, where the first tool did this silently behind my back. It fixed it without asking me first, but it told me. That's Codex. It'll tell you everything it's doing. The question is whether it actually knows. Here is the turn. For all that checking, Codex kept declaring things done that were visibly broken, and once you see why, you can't unsee it. The triage feature threw a hydration error, where the page doesn't match what the server sent. Codex saw it coming and wrote a genuinely sophisticated fix. Senior level work. It fixed the wrong bug. The real error was a date, formatted one way on the server, another in my browser. Codex never saw it. It marked the step complete with that error live on my screen because it verified by reading its own code instead of running it. And it happened again with the spam feature. Beggar. It capped how much the AI could write back, at less than half what 50 comments needed, so the response got cut off mid-sentence and the feature broke. But Codex tested it with 2 comments where the cap was fine, and declared it implemented. Its own test was too small to hit the bug it just wrote. So I showed it the error. It misdiagnosed it, decided the AI was returning bad data and rebuilt the part that reads it. But the data was never bad. It was cut off. It fixed the wrong thing, tested with 2 comments again, and told me a second time it was fixed. It wasn't. Same bug. Every check it ran was the wrong layer, reading code, or the wrong scale, 2 comments instead of 50. The one check that would have caught it, opening the page, was the one thing it never did. And here's what surprised me most. Codex couldn't keep the app running to look at it. On my setup, Windows, it tried 6 ways to start the dev server in the background, and everyone died. So I started it myself. Then I found the datebook for it, confirmed its fix, found the token book for it, confirmed that fix. Every time it said verified, what it meant was I verified. That's the counterintuitive part. This was the most autonomous tool I tested, and it depended on me more than the others because the more it ran by itself, the less it could see. The editors let me watch the page build. The agent built it in the dark and needed me to turn the lights on. To be fair, some of that is my setup. On a Mac or in its cloud, it might have caught this itself, but the result was the same. It couldn't check its own work, so I had to. Which brings us to the spam filter, the feature that broke both tools before it. Codex designed it well, on paper. And read that line. It said it would catch a comment when one signal is extremely strong. That's the exact fix the last tool needed and skipped. So I went looking for it in the code. It's not there. It designed the fix, described the fix, then wrote the plain version without it. Third time in the series, a tool said the right thing and shipped something else. So I tested it. The obvious scam, crypto, a Telegram handle, a shady link. Score 75. The threshold is 75. It hides it. Codex is the first tool in this series to catch the scam. But look how. It cleared the bar by nothing, exactly 75, because that comment tripped a couple of word matching rules. The AI was 99% sure, the keywords did the rest by luck. So I wrote a second scam, same con, I made $5,000 working from home, ask me how. In clean language, no links, no keywords. 55, visible. The AI flagged it just as hard, but with no keywords to grab, the score couldn't climb. Same scam, same AI confidence, one hidden, one not, and the only difference was whether the spammer used an obvious word. And that's the problem under all three tools. The AI's vote is capped. Even at 100% certain, it can't hide a comment alone. The keyword matcher has a veto. A context-aware AI overruled by a word list. That's the bug none of them fixed, and the one Codex designed the fix for and didn't build. To be fair, outside the things I couldn't see, the code was good. Every key was server-side, nothing leaked, the comment display was safe, no injection hole. The error handling was genuinely thorough, which is the irony. It guarded against a dozen failure modes and still shipped one fatal wrong number because it never ran the thing. And the moment I handed it an error it could see, it fixed it correctly. Fast. The brain was never the problem, the eyes were. So, Codex, the most thorough tool I've tested. It checks, it lints, it reads the docs, it tells you everything. And it shipped the most broken result of the three because all that checking pointed at the code, never at the running app. The pattern is clean. When Codex could check against something real, the docs, a working endpoint, it was excellent. When it couldn't, it confidently fixed the wrong thing and called it done. Brilliant with its eyes open, blind with them closed, and in autonomous mode, they were closed a lot. Worth using. If you're the one watching the screen, definitely worth code reviewing. Same verdict as the others, for a brand new reason. 3 tools in, 3 spam filters that look professional and don't work. 1 hit real people, 1 missed an obvious scam. This one caught the obvious scam and missed its twin. All 3 designed something smarter than they built. 1 left, Cloud Code, Anthropic's tool. Same app, same scams, same test. Will it pick its own model like Codex picked OpenAI's? Will it finally build the fix that other 3 only described? That's the finale. Honest reviews, no hype. See you in the next one.